Hi. No sound. We've got no sound. Can you hear me, Ruth?
Yes.
Brilliant. Modern technology, don't you love it?
Best to know.
So we're now live. And how did you just find out? How amazing was that?
It was great, absolutely great. Really inspiring. Her journey, getting on the boats, doing the 3 big oceans. And you know, when she was saying about the doubt that was going through her mind and how she overcame that, it's something that we all experience.
Oh, I love that. The little nugget that I picked up. If your motivation is bigger than your fear, you will overcome it. That is just so true. And it just stuck with me and really resonated with me. If you think the energy, the power, she pushed through some barriers. She had to have that mental strength. Absolutely amazing. I'm just blown away. Being out in the middle of the ocean, that is fearful. Well done. That is just like, it just shows you the inner knowing. I believe we've got our new next guest is Michelle O'Neill, another fabulous person as well. But I just can't get over. How can you just go and do it and push through that fear? Would you like to do it?
Yeah, man. Look, she lost 2 stones. I know she went through a lot, especially personal injuries and things like that. But, you know, it's about the mindset. Once you get the mindset, you can do anything. It's just power of the mind.
Proof is in the pudding, isn't it? Well, now we've got some amazing lineups this afternoon, but for your next speaker today is Michelle O'Neill. Now, everybody goes through tough times in their families. When you're having a divorce, you've got children, you've got finances, and people just don't know where to turn. Now, this lady is from Dallas, and she is a top divorce lawyer. Thankfully, I've never been married, so I won't be needing her services, but I know there's going to be a lot of people out there during this lockdown that have actually, and they need to sort it out. So it's nice to have that middle person as that mediator, just to sort everything out for you for the best intentions from both parties. So without further ado, we'd like to welcome Michelle O'Neill to your screen and see what she's got to offer you and support that she can offer you through her work.
It seems like there may have been some technical issues, so we will have Michelle back on very shortly.
Hi, everybody. So, this year has been the year of years, right? I mean, hashtag 2020 is going to go down in history as just something that we never expected and, hopefully never will see again in the same ways. But that doesn't excuse us from achieving goals. That doesn't excuse us from still pressing forward on doing the things that we want to do. It doesn't excuse us from setting those goals. Maybe they look different this year than they looked when you started the year. But even in the down times, even in the bad times, we still have to move forward. So I'm going to talk to you today about how to live a life by design. Each one of us gets 86,400 seconds each and every day. And we get to decide how we're going to spend every one of those seconds, every one of them. And I have the same number of seconds in my day that you have in your day, and that Beyonce has in her day. I mean, you think of the people that achieve the most in their days. Maybe they have the money to have a lot of people help them. I'll give Beyonce that. But every day we get up with the same number of seconds in the day. And we have to fit in a lot every day, right? We have to fit in hopefully working out and sleeping and spending time with family and working and paying the bills and going to the grocery store and doing the laundry. And how in the world do we fit in to all of those kind of mundane, routine things that we have to do every day? How do we fit into that, still making steps and strides toward achieving our goals? So I have a 4-step process. I have a handout, but somehow I don't know how to share it with you. So if you want a handout, a copy of my handout, go to my website at Michelle May O'Neil, ONEIL.com, and shoot me a little email on my contacts thing, and I'll send you the handout. So 4-step process for living your life by design. What's the opposite of living a life by design? Living a life blowing in the wind. Today the wind blows this way, and today the wind blows that way. And if you let the wind blow you around, then you're going to get 10 or 20 years down the road and go, I wish that I had achieved that goal. I wish that I had done more. I wish that I had done something different. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to get 10 or 20 years down the road and go, man, I wish, and live with regrets. So would you rather live a life by design or live with regrets? So step 1 in this process, step 1, where have you been? You've got to look in the rearview mirror. Now, there's a reason why the rearview mirror is small and the front window is big, because we're going to spend more of our time looking forward. But the first step in living your life by design is a self-evaluation of where have you been in that rearview mirror. I want you to think about the last year. Now, maybe the 2020 last year isn't the year to look at. Maybe you want to look at 2019. But look in your rearview mirror and evaluate, what are the 3 best things that happened to you in the last year? In the last 12 months, I want you to name 3 really great things that happened to you. Now, this year, you're going to tell me, oh, Michelle, I don't know. This has been a weird year and there's not much good happening in the world. Well, that may be, but we all have something to be grateful for. So what are some things that you could be grateful for, even in the last 12 months, even in the light of a pandemic? So list 3 things that are the best things that happened in the last year. Then the opposite of that, right? I want you to list the 3 worst things that happened in the last year. What are 3 things that you wish that you could change? So when you're listing worst things, I mean, there may be some really crappy things that have happened this year that you had no control over. Maybe those aren't what we want to look at. We want to look at things that you had some control over that you could change. So what are the 3 worst things that could happen that you wish you could change? Now, the next thing about this, I want you to list some of the goals. Did you set any goals for yourself in the last year? And if so, what were they? What were the goals that you set for yourself in the last year? And then evaluate how you did. Did you achieve them? Did you have a plan? Did you work the plan? Did you achieve those goals? Or did you somehow miss the mark? And if you miss the mark, I want you to look at and think about very carefully what you could have done to do better. What could you do to improve on achieving those goals last year? I mean, for me, one of my goals every year, probably yours too, it's a very common goal, is physical fitness. And so if I were to look at the last year and talk about goals unachieved, one of those would be in the physical fitness realm. And if I looked at things that I could have done to make achievement of those goals more likely, I can tell you, like getting up every morning at an earlier time to make time to work out in that otherwise pile of mundane tasks that we have to do every day. You know, getting up earlier, focusing a little bit more on my healthy eating, on planning my meals. Those are some things I could have done in the last year to do better on my physical fitness goals. But what were your goals and what were some things that you could have done better? And then last, I want you to analyze who were the 3 most influential people in your life in the last year. My mama always said, if you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. Now, that's just me from being from Dallas and giving you a little Texas wisdom there. But the point of that is that you are a product of the people that you hang out with, good or bad. If you hang out with people who are constantly negative, who are scared of a fly, well, that may not be the best analogy anymore, will it? But who are scared of their shadow, who are just toxic, negative, and encourage you that you can't achieve things, then those are not the people that you want to have influencing you in your life. You know, on the other hand, if the 3 most influential people in your life are people that inspire you and motivate you, who get up every day with achievement of goals in mind, I mean, those are the kind of people that you want to be around, because those people will encourage you to be better. So if you look at your past year and the 3 people that were the most influential on you in the last year, and those 3 people were not the kind of people that encourage you to achieve your goals, or maybe they're even just affirmatively toxic. I mean, maybe they're just toxic people and bring a lot of negativity in your life. And if that's the case, then you need to start thinking about how to change, not necessarily get rid of those friends or family that you've had, but how to change the people of influence. Maybe you need to get a mentor. Maybe you want to start hanging out more with this person and hanging out less with that person. So maybe you need a plan for improving the 3 most influential people in your life. But how do you know that if you don't analyze it? So analyze who those 3 most influential people were in your life, and take that rear view mirror glimpse into your last year so that you know where you've been. Because after all, if you don't know where you've been, how do you know where you're going? Second step in living a life by design: evaluate where you are now. Now, to me, this is the most important step. I try to do this step every year in the week between Christmas and New Year's. I try to do this, where have you been and where are you now, evaluation, and really basically this entire process. I try to do this every year between Christmas and New Year's. Now, this year has been such a crazy year with so much that's been unexpected. So I've actually gone through this process every quarter, looking at where have I been in this quarter and where do I want to go and how do I want to get there. So this is a very important step to evaluate where you are right now. And this has to be a thorough self-evaluation. And frankly, you have to be fair with yourself. I mean, you've got to be honest. If you aren't honest with yourself, I mean, who else is going to be that honest with you, right? So we're going to self-evaluate our current state of things. Now, this isn't just about looking at little bitty portions of your life. This is about looking at the whole thing. I do a lot of business coaching for women in business. And, and so we get hyper focused over here on business, on one part of the life. But really, you can't be successful in business. You can't be successful in one area of your life if the rest of it's falling apart. As Crystal said, I am a divorce lawyer. And so I see people who are in crisis in their family. They're in crisis in parts of their life. And it's very hard for people that I am helping through the divorce process to be a success over here in their career, because you have to have some balance. So what I do is I look at it on the wheel of life. Now, there have been many motivational speakers that have talked about the wheel of life. I'm not the first. I didn't create it, but it's so great. So basically, there are 7 main spokes on the wheel of life. Those are your fitness or your health, fitness, health. 2, finances. 3, your family spoke. 4, your field or your career. 5, faith. 6, friends. And 7, fun. So we've basically put it into 7 F's, okay? And the book that I follow on the Wheel of Life is called OOLA, O-O-L-A, Live an OOLA life. In other words, to live a well-balanced life that is moving forward. So fitness, finance, family, field, faith, friends, and fun. 7 areas of life. Now, I want you to go through each of those areas and evaluate how you're doing. Look at your fitness spoke. Now, when we talk about fitness spoke, we're not just talking about, did you get up and exercise this morning? We're talking about kind of that whole realm of personal health. Where are you on your personal health? Are you eating healthy? Have you gone to your doctor's appointments? Did you, if you're a 50-year-old woman like I am, did you get your mammogram this year? Are you getting enough exercise? Are you moving every day? The tide of aging, it is a relentless tide that comes in every day. And if you don't fight that tide of aging, eventually it will catch up to you. So are you moving every day? Are you doing all of those things, those self-care, health, fitness, nutritional things that make you the best you physically that you can be? So are you at a weight that you want to be at? Do you feel like you need to lose some weight? Are you up to date on your medical? Are you eating healthy? Are you, doing all of those things? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at today on health and fitness. All right, next, finances. Man, this is a hard one this year, right? I mean, there have been so many people that have taken a hit on their finances, whether they got laid off, whether they had to take a pay cut. Businesses have struggled in this pandemic time. And when businesses struggle, then their employees struggle. I mean, this has been a hard year for finances. But you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you're at. So evaluate yourself on your finances. How are your credit cards doing? Most of us carry so much credit card debt. So are you carrying a lot of credit card debt? Where are you at on your savings? Dave Ramsey tells us we should have an emergency fund that could last us for about 6 months. How's your emergency fund doing? Do you have 6 months of emergency money set aside that you don't touch in case you needed it for a layoff or an illness or something like that? If not, now is the time. I mean, we've all seen all of a sudden this year that it's possible that you would need that 6 months, right? If you got suddenly laid off or suddenly ill and couldn't go to work. So do you have your 6-month emergency fund? Do you have retirement savings? Are you planning for your retirement? I mean, I am actively planning for my retirement. At my age, that's what you do. But man, I wish I'd started 20 years ago thinking about that, because it would be so much better now than I am at. So are you where you need to be with your retirement? Are you diversified in your finances? Do you have everything in risky investments in the stock market? Or are you diversified so you're kind of hedging all of those bets in all of those different areas? Where are you at on your finances? Do you have more money at the end of the month or more month at the end of the money? So evaluate yourself and give yourself a score on a scale of 1 to 10 as to where you're at with your finances. And think about, be honest with yourself, be honest. You know, if you don't have that emergency fund, if you're up to your eyeballs in credit card debt, if even with all of that, if you still have month left at the end of your money, then, you know, we know that you need to look at making some changes in your finance department. Third, your family. Family to me has been so much more important this year than I think ever before. Not that it wasn't important ever before, but I think it's just really come into focus for me. So whether your family is little bitty, you have a couple of people that are in your family, or maybe you're somebody that is fortunate to have a great big family. Where are you at on your family scale? Are you spending enough time with your close family that you need to spend? Do you have a good positive relationship with your family? Are there certain members of your family that are toxic and that maybe you don't need to have influence with them as much as you do? Where are you at on this family spoke? Fourth, field or career. So again, I think this is a place where, you know, we really, to me, the field and career spoke is really in focus this year. I think with so many people getting laid off and businesses struggling and so many businesses closing, so many restaurants closing, waiters and waitresses in the service industry are struggling. There's just so much struggle going on in the career industry. So this is a time where you can really do some self-evaluation in that. I'm a firm believer that whenever the chips are down, like that's the best time to refocus and reevaluate where you're going, because there's always opportunity. In any economy, no matter how good or how bad, there's always opportunity. I bet if we talked in person right now, like we were supposed to be in Dallas, you could tell me of somebody or a business that you know that is really having success in this economy. And I'm sure we could all share stories about several people that we know or several businesses that we know that really have struggled. Where are you at with your field or your career? Are you in a place where you hate your job? You know, there is a significant number of people in this world that hate their job. In America, the statistics are staggering for the number of people who hate their job. And going back to that family spoke, I mean, I'm in the family business, right? And so I see people that don't want to be married anymore. And they go to a job they hate to go home to a family situation that they wish was different. So basically having misery in all of those areas. If you're in a job that you hate, now is the time to start thinking about how to fix that. Is it a matter of perspective of finding things in your current job to be grateful for? Or do you want to look at something else? Do you have some burning, passionate desire to do something else? Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to own your own business. Maybe you want to do network marketing and also own your own business. That's what network marketing is, but on a much smaller and more individually controllable scale. Or do you wish to get a degree in something else so you can change jobs? Whatever that is, evaluate where you're at right now on a scale of 1 to 10. Your career satisfaction, career fulfillment, career growth. Are you growing in your field? And give yourself that very honest evaluation on a scale of 1 to 10. Faith is next. Where are you at in your faith? I'm a firm believer that I don't hold all the answers to every faith question that exists in the world. And I think there's a lot of room in all of the universe for there to be a lot of different opinions. So I'm not trying to tell you have to believe in any one particular thing, but what is it that you believe? Do you believe in something outside of yourself? Do you believe in the karmic power of the universe? Do you believe in the one God? Do you believe in a different religion? What is the religion? What is the faith that you have that you believe in? And are you walking in that faith? Are you living true to your belief system, to your integrity? Things that you believe in your core are important. Are you living according to those morals and guidelines and basic rules that you have for yourself? Where are you at on your faith scale? Give yourself a score of 1 to 10. All right, 6th, friends. Do you have enough friends? I mean, it's so hard right now in a pandemic to maintain friendships. Like, how do we maintain friendships? Getting on a Zoom call? I mean, it's just struggling, to call somebody. I mean, I don't know about you, but at work, I talk on the phone so much. When I leave work, I'm just not really in a mood to talk on the phone anymore. But if I don't call some of my girlfriends, then I'm going to lose touch. Do you text? Do you call? Do you get on a Zoom call? Do you FaceTime? Do you just keep up on Facebook even? But how are you keeping up with your friends? Friends are so important, especially for us women when we get a little bit older and the kids are gone. We've got to have those girlfriends. When you get up into advanced years, one of the keys to health is your socialization. So having friends is important to your long-term health and your longevity. Just living a good, solid, meaningful life. Friends are so important. So where are you at on your friend scale? Are you happy with the friends? Are you happy with the circle that you have that's influencing you? Are they lifting you up and pouring into you and helping you to be a better you? Are they encouraging you to do the things that you have a passion for? Or do you have some friends that are in the toxic category that bring you down, that are negative Nellies, that tell you can't achieve certain things? Where is your friend scale? Give yourself a score of 1 to 10. Are you a good friend? That's another way to look at it. Are you a good friend to your friends? And are they good friends to you? And then the 7th one, fun. Now, it's really easy with the heaviness of the world and the heaviness of current events to not have fun. But we still have to have fun. I mean, if we don't laugh and have lightness in our time, then we are just going to be super soaked in all the depressing things that are happening every day. So how are you finding a way to laugh every day? Maybe it's a joke of the day. Maybe you subscribe to a joke of the day email and then go share that with your coworkers, or share it on Facebook with your friends. Maybe you get outside and play with your kiddos as soon as you get home from work and throw the ball around and laugh and be childlike. What is your source of fun? Where do you find lightness and laughter and peace in your day? I mean, honestly, fun sometimes for me is a hammock and a good book on a beautiful day with a glass of sweet iced tea, because I'm in the South, curled up and reading. Maybe that's fun. Whatever it is that you think is fun, where are you now on working fun into your day? Are you doing a pretty good job of it? Or are you letting the world and current events and life get you down and not really having any fun? Give yourself a score on a scale of 1 to 10 as to where you are at on your fun scale. Now, what I want you to do is to look at this in a circle, like the wheel of life with spokes, with 7 spokes, and plot out. If you're a 10 on something, you're going to be way up here close to the rim. If you're a 1 on something, you're going to be close to the center. But plot it out and look at, if you drew a circle in your numbers, would your circle be balanced? Or would it look like a tire with a problem? I mean, you know, maybe your tire has a little bit of a ding in it on a couple of those spokes. And so your tire doesn't roll very smoothly down the road of life. That's okay, because you can't know what you need to work on until you evaluate that where you are now. Even if some of those spokes need work, it's better to know than to not know. A friend of mine calls it doing the ostrich dance, when you stick your head in the sand and you wiggle your rear and you call it dancing. So we don't want to do the ostrich dance. We want to be fully aware of where we're at right now so that we can take action to know what we need to work on. Now, it's unrealistic going forward to ever think that you're going to be rocking solid 10s on every single spoke. I mean, if we were doing that, if we were rocking solid 10s on every area of life, I mean, we'd live in utopia. I mean, that's just not how life is. I mean, life throws us curveballs. We know that, hashtag 2020, right? Hashtag 2020. Life throws us curveballs. I mean, life, you know, you may be soaring on one area. Maybe your career is just going great guns, but then all of a sudden you have a health problem and your health and fitness scale is in the toilet. So, you know, whatever that is, whatever that looks like right now for you, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't be down because you have a couple of things or several things that aren't rocking those 10s. It's okay. It's all right. That's life. So step 3 is, where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? And again, we're going to look at those 7 areas of life. What I want you to do here is set up 3 goals in each area. 3 goals in each area to think about, if you could fast forward 12 months from now, where would you be on each of those 7 areas? What would you have achieved 12 months from now when you look in that rearview mirror? What is it that you would achieve? Now here, we are looking at the front window of the car. Remember, the front window of the car is big and the rearview mirror is small. So we are focused fully on that front window of the car. Where are we going? Now, let's start with fitness and health. Where 12 months from now do you want to be? Now, be realistic. I mean, be realistic with this. Don't take on more than you know you can handle just to set yourself up for failure. So what would be your 3 goals that if you could fast forward 12 months from now that you would actually achieve? Maybe it's losing some weight. I mean, we know if we had this discussion on January 1st of every year, the number 1 goal that people set is to lose some weight. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's to eat healthier. Maybe it's to go get your physical exams done that you know you've been putting off. Whatever those 3 things are for you, I want you to set those 3 goals. Now, a little bit of goal setting. You have to set goals that are relevant and timely and specific, right? So they call them SMART goals: specific, and measurable, right? We've got to be able to measure them and to be specific, and they have to be oriented to time and relevance. Okay. So, it's one thing to say, I want to lose weight. It's another thing to say, I want to lose 20 pounds by next year. And it's even another thing to say, I want to lose a pound a month because I think I can do that and still live the rest of my life on this wheel. A pound a month between now and then, or a pound a week. That's probably not achievable. You see what I'm saying? So think about your goals in terms of being specific and measurable and time-based. So time-based, so a pound a month, or every day I'm going to do X. So that you have a realistic chance. Because the thing that just always gets you down is if last year you set some goals and this year you didn't achieve them. So let's set some measurable goals that you have the chance of achieving. So fitness. What 3 things would you do in the next year with your fitness and health? For me, at the beginning of this year of 2020, one of those things was to get right with my doctors. I had been busy in work and neglecting all of those medical appointments that we all know we need. And I'm a 50-year-old woman, so there's a few that get added to the list, right? So what, maybe that's your goal. I mean, for me, my goal in 2020 was to get right with the doctors. And I ended up having to have a surgery, an emergency surgery, because when I got right with the doctors, we found out there was some stuff going on. So better to know than not know, but maybe that's your goal. Maybe your goal is to eat more healthy. Maybe it's just to simply eat more vegetables or eat more protein or drink a protein shake every day. Maybe your goal is movement. Maybe you have some specific physical fitness goals that you want to achieve. One of my goals was for 2020 that I set at the beginning of the year was that I wanted to complete a 10K this year. Now, understand, in years past, I've done plenty of 5Ks and 10Ks. I completed a half marathon, but in recent years, that's really gotten away from me. So for 2020, what was important to me was to be able to train and complete a 10K. Well, then along comes 2020, and what happened with 2020? They've canceled all of our events. So I couldn't go and compete in a 10K event. And it went virtual. The one that I wanted to do was supposed to happen in September, but they went virtual, kind of like this went virtual. So today I'm proud to say that I went and did my 10K this morning, and I'm still standing here talking to you guys. So I was able to check mark that box of one of my 2020 goals. But what are those goals? Finances. What are the 3 goals that you would set? Maybe it's paying off your car. Maybe it's paying off your credit card debt. Maybe it's just accumulating enough money to fund that emergency fund. Or maybe you have more month left over at the end of your money and you need to start a side hustle that makes money, or get a part-time job, or reduce your expenses. There's lots of things that can be finance goals. What are your 3 finance goals for the next 12 months? Family. What would be 3 goals that you would set with your family spoke? Is it to maybe dedicate some specific time every week to spend with your family? Maybe it's to call your mom once a week. Maybe you set aside some time on Sunday afternoon to call your mom and have a longer chat with your mom. My mom passed away about 10 years ago, and I would give anything to be able to make that a goal. If your mom is still around, please do that. Please make that one of your goals, just for me. What 3 goals would you set as it relates to your field, your profession, the thing that you get up every day to do? What are 3 goals? Maybe you want to pursue some education. Maybe you want to improve your skills. Maybe you want to change jobs, start a side hustle, start a network marketing business. What are those 3 goals that 12 months from now you could achieve? Faith. What are some goals that you could have with regard to faith? Meditate, prayer, go to church. What are some things that you could read that would help your faith goals. Set 3 goals with regard to your faith. Friends. Set 3 goals with regard to friends. I mean, right now it's so hard. Do you want to do a Zoom call even once a month with your girlfriends? Do you want to make a point to call somebody, call your friends, maybe while you're driving to work or taking the train? And then fun. Lastly, this one is always hard for me because I get so wrapped up in work and all the other things of life that I forget to have fun. So can you set aside some specific goals for fun? Set 3 of them, 3 goals. Laugh every day. Come up with a joke every day. Find something humorous in your day. What are 3 things that you can do to bring light and levity to your existence? Now, once you've got 3 goals in the 7 areas, you've got 21 goals, and you're going, Michelle, I can't possibly achieve 21 goals. How can I even know what to focus on? Well, you're right. What I want you to do now is pick 7, just 7 of those. Not that you're eliminating the other 14, but I want you to pick 7 out of the 21 that are the things that you're really going to focus on. Now, for those of you out there who are a little technical, you don't have to pick one in each area. These are your goals. You get to make the rules. You can decide how you're going to do it. You might pick all 3 of the goals that you set in your fitness area and none of the goals in your family area. That's okay. It's your world. We just live here. So I want you to pick 7 goals that you're really going to focus on and write those down. And those are the ones that you're really going to think about achievement for the next 12 months. Don't put away the list of the other 14. We're still going to work on those, but we're going to hyper focus on 7. Now, step 4, in the few minutes I have left, how do you get there? It's fine to have goals, but goals without a plan are dreams. So what is the plan for action? I have a friend of mine that goes, take massive action. And that's what we need to do to achieve those 21 goals that you've now set. So when you get a year from now, 12 months down the road, and you look in your rearview mirror, you're not living with regret. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to spend a few minutes every morning, just a few minutes. And I want you to think about, I don't know about you, but every morning I write down the to-do list for me, and I write down my husband's to-do list. And, and it's going to have things like pay the bills and go to the grocery store and do the laundry, all the mundane things of life. So when you're doing that, I also want you to write down just 3 things, 3 baby steps, 3 teeny tiny little baby steps that you could do in that 1 24-hour period that would get you closer to one of your goals, or 2 of your goals, or 3 of your goals. 3 baby steps. Maybe it's making a phone call. Maybe it's looking something up on Google when you're watching TV at night to research what you need to do to achieve one of your goals. Maybe it's ordering that book on Amazon that'll teach you about money. Maybe you need to read a Dave Ramsey book. Write down every morning 3 baby steps that you could take in the midst of all of the mundane to-do lists that you have every day. And then I want you to set about in your 24 hours doing all of your mundane things, but prioritize these 3 baby steps. Because I think what you're going to find is that when you focus on, I'm going to do my daily tasks, but I'm going to intentionally set about every day and do these 3 little things every day. And they're going to be different every day. So you're going to achieve 3 things every day that are baby steps toward that goal. And then when you get a week down, you're going to look back and say, oh my gosh, look at all these things I achieved toward my goals. And when you get a month down and 6 months down, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, all these little 3 baby steps every day have amounted to a lot of effort and progress toward my goals. So that is how you get there. You set these goals and you come up with 3 baby steps every day to achieve your goals. So in review, Where have you been? Look in that rear view mirror and do a self-assessment of your last 12 months. Evaluate the good things and the bad things and the people and the things that have influenced you for the last 12 months. And then do an evaluation of where you are now in the 7 areas of life: fitness and health, finances, family, field, career, faith, friends, and fun. And do a self-assessment, rate yourself, come up with your spokes on that wheel. Then look at those same 7 areas and say, where do I want to go? Where do I want to be 12 months from now in these 7 areas? And set 3 goals each, and then narrow that down to 7, just 7 things that you're going to focus on. And then come up every day with a plan of attack of 3 things that you can do every day toward achieving some of those goals. And then next year, when you look in your rearview mirror, you're going to say, I did great on some of this. Maybe some of it you aren't going to achieve. That's okay too. Don't beat yourself up. It's okay. You've got next year. So look in your rearview mirror in a year, and you're going to see all of these things that you achieve by living with intent and purpose. Every day, get up and intentionally come up with the 3 things you can do today to make progress to those goals. And next year, you'll find that you lived a life by design, maximizing your 86,400 seconds every day.
The Best You is leading the way in the industry of personal and professional growth. Through our magazine, expos, e-learning, TV, club, and awards, The Best You's objective is to help people achieve their dreams, to do more, to be more, to live a life without limits. Join us if you believe in helping and inspiring others, in changing the world, in making it a more just and fair place through education and inspiration. Our goal: everyone, everywhere, now. If you are interested in making a difference, working, partnering, volunteering, supporting, or even licensing The Best You, let's talk. Let's work together and make the world a better place.
The Best You Online, featuring in-depth interviews, motivational talks, and inspiring masterclasses from the world's top experts, motivational speakers, business gurus, and thought leaders. Leaders and influencers from all over the world are here to share their knowledge and skills with you. The Best You Online is a priceless mine of personal development wisdom, knowledge, and practical information to help you take charge of your life and take you, your business, and career beyond where you have always wanted to go. The Best You Online.
The well-being industry is worth $3 trillion. Hi, I'm Bernardo Moy. I'm the founder of The Best You, and I wanted to share with you my vision, my dream, the concept of The Best You. The Best You is a multi-platform, global platform. Our first thing is The Best You Expo. Now, we've been doing this for the last 5 years, and over these last 5 years, we've had close to 70,000 people attend, and we promoted more than 700 speakers. Because we filmed every single event, we have more than 700 talks from world leaders, all in one library of content. The really exciting thing about The Best You is our growth strategy. Look, we're going to be running expos all over the world. We've done them now in London and California. We're exploring about running them in Miami. We're looking at running them in Canada, in Mexico. It's just the beginning. So this business model where we will license the Best You Expo will enable us, will allow us to attract more and more speakers, to attract the biggest brands, to attract all the thinkers that will want to be involved, not only in the local, but in the international reach and approach that we have. This will provide us phenomenal revenue and so much content through all the talks and all the different partners that we will have around the world. And there's so many opportunities for people like yourself, for you to be able to get involved in The Best You now. Thank you so much.
Now, the Best You personal and professional development virtual expos are happening globally in 2021. Whether you want to speak, exhibit, or attend, these are online events for all those passionate about living a better life, creating a better world, gaining greater mindfulness and meaning in these new times, and becoming the best version of themselves. Book your speaking slot, your virtual booth, and get tickets to attend now.
What is life? Your life isn't just about what you're doing now. Your life is the sum of every hope you ever had and everything you ever wanted to be. Life is about the situations you deal with, how you get to where you want to be, and how you become who you want to be. Life is a collection of moments and memories. Life is about being alive, feeling alive. Life is about dealing with whatever fate throws at you. Life is about staying on top when things are challenging. Life is about enjoying yourself, about finding yourself, about leaving a legacy. Life is about looking and feeling good, about staying ahead. It's about being the best you. What you want, what we all want, is a life without limits. So why don't you be the best you?
That was amazing coaching tips and techniques from Michelle O'Neill. I love the wheel. It is so transformational. It really helps you know where you are. And as we all know, a wheel needs to go in a full circle. If not, it's out of balance. And so I hope that you got something valuable out of this. I was looking at the fun factor and I had to think to myself, where am I on the fun? Because this lockdown isn't much fun. But actually, I did find within myself, I had two. I need to find a third one. But dancing is definitely one of them for me. And also watching lots of comedy. What is it for you, Sarah Jane?
It was definitely the fun factor. We have to have fun to raise our energy and vibration. You've got to bring the fun into everything. So, yeah, and the wheel, once again, is full circle. So it's setting small goals, achievable goals. Everything that goes round always carries on going back round to a full circle. So, yeah.
Yeah, wheel of life, isn't it? Just keeps going, turning, round and round. So, you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we've started our day. We're now into the afternoon. So thank you for still being with us. We have, you know, so many different speakers coming up throughout the course of the day. And at the top of the hour, we're going to have another fabulous speaker as well. So, Sarah Jane, before we introduce that next speaker, what was another thing that you found that was helpful in one of the F's that Michelle O'Neill was talking about?
Well, it's really just doing the 3 baby steps, isn't it? It's literally going around the circle and actually just taking that time to set yourself some small goals to complete, achievable goals. And it is making sure they're fun and really for them just to enlighten you. Really, you don't want to be setting massive goals that are not in your reach. And just making lighthearted with them and thinking of a positive, bringing the fun and lifting the vibration. Yeah, so that's really what it was for me.
So next up, we've got Dr. Faye Wilson. Dr. Faye Wilson, she is a confidence coach with a focus on spiritual and personal development. Dr. Faye helps entrepreneurs and business owners monetize their message online and to alleviate their money flow, to elevate their money flow. Her boutique and signature talks will leave you inspired and transformed to live the limitless life relaunch you've been waiting for. Dr. Faye is a returning speaker at the Best You on the Virtual Expos. She was in the Passion to Profit, and she will be our next host talking. She has a talk show host, and she's also an author. So if you've not heard of Dr. Faye Wilson, you're going to be introduced to her in the next few minutes, because she is our next wonderful, inspiring speaker at the Best You Expo.
The Best You Online. Featuring in-depth interviews, motivational talks, and inspiring masterclasses from the world's top experts, motivational speakers, business gurus, and thought leaders. Leaders and influencers from all over the world are here to share their knowledge and skills with you. With over 500 speakers, The Best You Online is a priceless mine of personal development wisdom, knowledge, and practical information to help you take charge of your life and take you, your business, and career beyond where you have always wanted to go. The Best You Online.
What I would say along the journey, the biggest turning point for me is when I realized that I was so used to saying yes. I was saying yes to so many things. It was getting to be overwhelming, confusion, and it was clear. Still happens sometimes. I'm not perfect at it. But when I realized, like Warren Buffett says, he says, I say no to everything. And a couple things a year sneak in because they were perfect for my bigger future. So along that journey, if you say what was the biggest change in my life, is learning to say no. And in your journey, how do you say no? You know, when people say to me, Dean, I'm overwhelmed, or I need a time management course, or I need to fit more time, or I wish I had 48 hours in a day, they don't need time management. They need clarity. They need a vision. Because most people walk around knowing what they don't want in life. Like we just literally spend so much time knowing what we don't want, and when we do that, we say yes to too many things. And I've asked thousands of people this. You could ask somebody, what they don't want out of life, and they will ramble off all the things that aren't working, their wife, their husband, their money, their income. And if you stop them abruptly and go, okay, you don't want that. Tell me right now, really quick, what do you want out of life? I've done this with thousands of people. 9 out of 10 will literally go,
blank.
They'll say, that's a good question, or I really don't know. So what are you doing? We're in a Ferrari with no GPS, going 100 miles an hour, but we don't know where we're going. Why did I take so much time to share that? Because that's one of the biggest secrets of my life. The biggest changer for me are the most successful people I know. When you ask them where they're going, they know just like that. So with that said, instead of just avoiding what you don't want, when you have clarity, and this is a little hack, do this. If you get nothing else out of this interview, do this one thing for me. Pretend it's a year from now, and it's the best year of your life. Let's just pick your finances. It's the best year of your life. You are doing so well financially and in the career that you love that you walk in a room and people don't know if you got a tan, you got a haircut, you've been working out. Your wife looks at you and goes, damn, he's sexy. Or your husband looks at you and goes, wow, she looks so beautiful. Like you're in that glow, you're in that groove. And your life, what do you look like in the mirror? What do you feel like? How much money's coming in? Like pretend it's a year rather than trying to look ahead. Sometimes we're so damn busy, we have a dust cloud around us, right? Like we're just trying to handle so much, it's hard to set goals. So pretend it's a year, it's the best year of your life, and just start writing stuff down. And then all of a sudden circle the top ones. And that's really your destination. That can give you part of your vision, part of the clarity of where you want to go. So all the stuff I'm telling you, the reason I loop this so big is when you know where you want to go, then all of a sudden it's easier to say no to the things that don't serve your bigger future. Right? If it's not on that list of your perfect life a year from now, then why are you hanging out with your friends talking about negativity? With that group of people that make you feel sad. You're working on that business that hasn't made you money in 10 years and you're not happy with it. Time to shut it down. Time to get rid of that boss that's been making you feel bad about yourself, or that employer or that employee that works for you that makes you feel bad every day. Let it go. Like when you look at that perfect life, if it doesn't fit, it's either a no or get rid of it, right?
Are you sick and tired of struggling to get your career to where you want it to be? Working with the right coach can be a life-changing experience, and Bernardo Moya is changing lives all over the world. Learn how to create revenue streams, attract higher qualified clients consistently, market your brand, and promote your business to a global audience. Bernardo is one of the biggest names in the world of personal development. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and a founder and chief inspirational officer of the Best You Corporation. So fast track your career now.
Welcome back. Next up, we are going to have Dr. Faye Wilson a little bit later, but for now, up and coming, we've got the marvelous Jessica Huell, who will be doing an inspiring people's interview. Have a listen and be inspired.
Hi, and welcome to Inspiring People. Today, we're here with Jessica Huell, who is an entrepreneur and a publicist. Having enjoyed a 10-year career working at the pinnacle of the British media with a 7-year spent under the wing of the PR mogul Max Clifford, she has worked with the likes of Simon Cowell and Peter Jones. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. Tell me a little bit about yourself and where you're from and what you do.
I am 32, mum of 2. I have a big daughter who's almost 14 and a baby who is almost 1. I live in London, and my time is spread across running JH Public Relations, Colourblind Cards, and the London branch of Forward Ladies, which is a support organisation for women in business.
Tell me about your earliest memories. Where you from and what was that like?
I grew up in London, wanted to be a dancer, for a ballerina for a long time, and then grew too tall. In those days, you had to be, the females had to be shorter than the male ballerinas, so that was kind of out the window, aged about 11. Yeah, I'd always enjoyed writing, and I wanted to be a journalist. I grew up with both parents, 2 brothers. My parents were always very pro-education and ambitious for us. But then when I was 17, I got pregnant, which kind of threw a spanner in my career aspirations works. And my parents were obviously very, very disappointed. And it was really quite life-changing for me in a positive way.
What was your relationship like with them after that happened?
It was good. I mean, initially, my parents were, my dad particularly was really quite devastated. He'd worked all his life to give us opportunities, all the extracurricular piano and ballet lessons that cost lots of money, for us. And so he was very disappointed. They both were, and hurt, I guess, with a sense of disappointment and real let down. So initially, it definitely impacted on our relationship. I moved out young, but then when my daughter was born, I met was a midwife, I think, who came and sort of checked on me after the birth and suggested that I go back to college, and that really sort of completely changed the direction of my life. And once I did get back into education and began to achieve, my relationship with my parents really improved. They were obviously completely surprised. I think they genuinely believed that was kind of the end of my my professional life.
What was school like for you before?
School was fun. I mean, I was always a good student. I went to a state school, a nice little state school. And then I went to a nice secondary state school, but I had nice friends, and I always did quite well. I was distracted. I had a difficult time during my teens, as I think a lot of people do. And for somewhere along the line, those dreams and that self-belief kind of disappeared. Again, I think it's quite common to, you dream big when you're a kid, and then something happens in those teenage years where, for some young people, I think, where you don't, those dreams disappear. And certainly in my case, I didn't, in those days, I didn't know anyone else that had gone to university, for example. I grew up in an estate, as most of my friends did. It wasn't, my parents worked hard, so we were able to enjoy, as I said, piano, ballet, you know, which were privileges. But I didn't know anyone else that had gone to uni. I didn't see it as something that would be achievable for myself, even though on reflection, academically, I was more than capable.
Any subjects in particular you liked?
English,
Yeah.
I was always a writer. I enjoyed writing and kind of anything creative and expressive. And I enjoyed school. I just fell off course somewhere.
Okay, so then that's when you 17
Mm.
got pregnant. Then
Yeah.
when is it you went back to college?
My daughter was about 6 months old, so I was 18 by that point, and she was about 6 months, and I went and I signed up for my A levels. I had actually been on the A level course, but had dropped out twice. Just no focus. I was really lacking focus and a sort of sense of purpose in my life. And I guess Monet coming along, as much as it's not something that I would recommend for any other young person, it gave me purpose. And also I had a massive point to prove to my parents and society and everyone, you know. At that time in the media, there was a real kind of, teenage mums were the scourge of society, and, and I just wanted it more than anything to be able to I was very aware of that. I wasn't like a teenager that was, oblivious to all these.
Yeah, you had responsibilities and it was different,
Yeah. And I wanted to prove people wrong, and that was a real driving force for me.
So how many years were you in college?
I did my A levels in a 1 year intense course because I was in a rush to get to uni. And they basically just sort of double up the hours of learning. And so I did sociology and literature, and then I got an A and a C, and then I went straight to uni and did a journalism degree for 3 years afterwards, and just commuted 3 days a week and had a part-time job at Russell and Bromley. Packed the other remaining hours with work experience at the BBC and actually for Pride magazine, and then Max, which is how my career with him started as an intern. My daughter was 2 when I walked into Max's and started on a work experience placement.
So who was an inspiration to you in your early years? I mean, when you actually decided to go to college, was there anybody who was inspirational to you then?
No.
Anybody helped you? No? Anybody stood out?
No, and I'm passionate about role models now. There wasn't anyone that I was, aiming to be or to, mirror.
So what was your first job then, when you actually went through uni?
My very first job was working for Connie Filippello, who was George Michael and Mariah Carey's publicist, and that happened kind of accidentally. One of my part-time jobs was working in a hairdresser's. And I was washing this lady's hair, and you have to make small talk. And she kind of said, "Oh, she's real large, diva-ish, wonderful character." And she said, "Darling, you're too intelligent to be working here." And I said, "Come and work for me." I said, "What do you do?" And should I run an office? And she invited me along for an interview. And she said, "Answer the phone, say Connie Filippello publicity." And I did. And she was like, "Right, start Monday." And it wasn't until the Monday I discovered that she was actually the publicist to Versace, who was alive at the time, and George Michael and Mariah Carey. And that was my initiation into the media and
your big break.
My big break. And I mean, it was a very junior, office junior role.
How old were you then?
18.
Wow.
18.
Wow.
Yeah. So it all kind of happened as I was, continuing my academic journey. And then I just got the bug, and then I just couldn't get enough of experience and soaking it all up. And I just wanted to make sure that we were taught so much that, the media was so competitive, and I wanted to make sure there was no chance that I was going to leave uni without a job.
Do you remember what you got paid in that first job as a junior?
Gosh, not very much. Not very much. And I did a lot of work for free as well. Not for Connie, that was paid, but, I worked for I did a radio slot for the BBC for about, I'm sure it was at least 6 or 7 months, every other Saturday night, which was free, and Pride magazine again for probably about 7, 8, 9 months, a couple of days a week for free. And it was something I did, with a smile. I was just really happy to be in that environment and feel like I had a use, and and then opportunities, the possibilities began to open up, and
Exactly.
that's exciting.
Exactly.
So
if you could give yourself any advice now, you know, looking at yourself back in the days when you're 16, 17, 18, I mean, could you, what advice would it be?
I guess I would tell my teenage self that, you know, it was all going to be okay. And that, you know, because, and I shouldn't allow anybody's perceptions or ideas about, you know, who I was to define who I was or what my future was going to be, because it's something that I had to learn. But it would have helped if I'd known it, and then I could have just got on with achieving. But yeah, probably something like that. You know, we're all in control of our own destiny, and people, you know, often judge and make presumptions with knowing very little.
Exactly, and some people don't actually, because of that poor advice, they don't actually follow it through.
Yeah,
you obviously were very driven, and you did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you consider yourself happy now?
Yeah, no, I do. I'm very lucky. And you know, it keeps getting more exciting. You know, I still have the ambition bug. You know, working for myself now, you never stop. There's always more that you can do. You know, my other business, which is Colorblind Cards, you know, is really exciting because it's a niche market which is untapped, and you know, we have a global presence in a small way, and you know, and there's so much more to do, and that's really exciting to me rather than being off-putting, because it means that once we get to the position that I intend to take it to, it means I can do a lot with that, and again, that's really exciting.
From your days when you were running the PR and you were working with Max Clifford, I mean, you know, was your focus then already to get into business, or was that just no, not then?
No, I loved working for Max. He was a wonderful boss, and you know, it really that role changed my life.
You must have learned so much.
I learned so much, and I just remember this amazing sense of pride. You know, it's so superficial now, but being like a young person, really young person, walking into the office on Bond Street and being like, I work in Bond Street, and feeling quite fabulous, and you know. And it was all very exciting, and you know, there were always incredibly high profile people walking in and out of our office, and you know, what more does a sort of 20-something person, you know, in media want? But yeah, it was wonderful. It was I learned a lot, and just to have his support and belief in me at such an early stage in my career was really important. And we had some great adventures. Every year we'd go off to Spain, the whole office, to this and do this charity gala. And Max would put all of the women in the office up in our own villa. And my daughter would come along, and there'd always be special arrangements made for her. You know, she was like our office mascot. And yeah, and we kind of grew up together through the office. And it was great. But no, I didn't intend to start a business. I just kind of spotted this gap in the market and ran off with it.
So from there, what did you do? Did you carry on? Then you started doing your own PR? You set up your own company, and then you went into business? Or
not initially. I started Colorblind Cards whilst I was working for Max, and I continued full-time at Max running the card business, you know, lunchtime, nighttime, email, for about another 2 years before leaving. And then when I left, I set up JHPR, because again, it was just organic. People, you know, I had a lot of experience and contacts, and still enjoyed it. I do the PR that I began to do was slightly different to what I've been doing for Max. Max Clifford is quite well known for all the sensational stories, but there is a very straightforward PR side to the business, which is what we were involved in, as opposed to the kind of front page stories. So yeah, then eventually by 2000 and goodness 9 8 9 I'd left Max's and was running Colorblind and JHPR.
you won quite a few awards as an entrepreneur, and you were invited to number 10.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. They were the majority of them have been for Colorblind, and it's great. You know, it's business is hard, and it's always great to have recognition, and some of those awards came at times where perhaps I was considering giving up. I never would have done, but it was a great boost to keep going, and also it's meant that lots of other young women particularly have kind of got in touch over the last couple of years, and with maybe stories that are quite similar to my own, and I've been able to communicate with many of them, which is really nice.
Do you think you've had a turning point in your life that really helped you become who you are now?
Several.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing those?
Yeah, the first would be she wasn't a midwife. She must have been like a counselor or something. But as a young mum, we sort of have extra attention. And this lady that, I explained that I was feeling really down and kind of hopeless. And she said, well, why don't you go back to college? And it was such a simple statement, but really life-changing. That would be the first one. And then getting my job at Max's. Obviously the birth of my daughter, but yeah, they would be some of them.
And what's your plans now? I mean, a lot of people, because I think part of what happens in schools nowadays is that, they come out of school, they go to uni, and they find themselves in a position where they don't know how to start a business or go and get a job interview. I mean, what's your advice, either if you go or don't go to uni?
I think that I wish in this country that I think things are changing now, and certainly I'm a big fan of some of these academies. I've spent a fair amount of time in St Matthew's Academy, which is in South London, where they're just doing incredible work. I mean, the level of enterprise amongst these young people from the ages of about 4 straight through to the teen years is amazing. They all have sidelines outside of their school. They're making key rings and just really encouraging. And I just think we should encourage our young people to think about not just who they're going to work for when they leave school, but, what are their skills? What, just to view themselves as a boss first and foremost. Because it wasn't something that was certainly ever taught in my day. But I think that is changing now, and my advice would be to I guess get to know yourself a little bit, even before thinking about working for someone else, and also it's fine to go through a process of elimination. Work experience is great. Many people get into their field through trying it out, and
maybe even later in their life.
Exactly. And you can eliminate what you don't want to do and then arrive at what you do want to do. I think that's okay.
The beauty of the kind of the interviews that we do is that we manage to meet very interesting people who obviously are successful in a way, but are very happy to share their wisdom and their expertise. And that's the kind of things that I think need to happen at schools. I mean, I've got teenagers as well, and that's kind of the things that I think we need to do. What would you like your daughter to do, for example? She's obviously 14 now, and a lot of kids don't really necessarily know what they want to do. But
well, Monet
what's
is
your advice
creative.
to her?
I want her to just do whatever she wants to do. Yeah, as much as she has several things she wants to do. She wants to be a performer. She wants to open a school for homeless children. She seems to think there's a market for this. There's all sorts of things she wants to do. Everything that she wants to do is what I want her to do. I want her to, and thankfully I have a little girl who has always seen her mum doing lots, and I've involved her as much as possible. Much of the time just through having to, but it means she doesn't see barriers. As far as she's concerned, the world is her oyster, which is great. If you can start your kind of adult life from that point, then how amazing. But yeah, just be just be a good person, and be aware of this, just retain an awareness of the kind of society that we live in, and all the kind of superficiality and that comes with it, and just maintain some level of equilibrium amongst that, if that makes sense.
No, you're right. And that's one of the things I always like covering as well. Is what do you think the problems of society are? Because obviously there's a number of skills that we do. But first, what are the problems you think with society nowadays?
There are many. For me, I think it's very important to. I think it's very simple. You know, I think that there's much to gain, and it shouldn't be your motivation, but there is much to gain from helping. And I think we all grow when we help each other. And if a lot more of that was being done on a wider level, then we wouldn't have many of the issues that we have. When it comes to teenagers failing academically, um, you know, there was this whole epidemic of gun crime, according to the media recently, and even knife crime. And you know, for me, teenage motherhood was almost a kind of uh, the parallel to that for girls. And I just think it's all of these issues are to do with self-worth and purpose, because if you have a sense of purpose and a reason to work hard and do well, then you don't do silly things like that. You know, if you care about yourself enough to to want to live a fantastic life, and you're looking forward to the future, then you don't jeopardize it by making silly mistakes. And I just think, you know, it's always about looking to the root of these problems and trying to address that, rather than just dishing out punishment or judgment. Yeah, and I feel very strongly about kind of supporting and encouraging young people. You know, they're the future, and I think I've experienced how powerful it can be when you just have one individual who does believe in you, and encourages you. It can really be life-changing. So yeah, I guess that's part of.
Well, that's it. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. No, that's really nice. And I think it's also difficult to define, I suppose, because there's many skill sets out there that are required. But I mean, I've got my thoughts, what I would think are the most important. But what would you think are, if there was only two skill set that people should really focus on now, what would they be?
Skill sets, goodness. Communication. Communication. Yeah, you need that across the board. Gosh, there's so much happening online. It's difficult. It's a difficult question.
No, but I think
it would depend on where you know where you want to go. But
I think that's summer. I mean, and to be honest, I agree with you. I mean, I think, you know, communication is absolutely essential. Unfortunately, you get a lot of people who are actually looking for a job, and you know, they leave school or uni and they can't actually communicate. You know, they can't engage with a proper conversation, eye contact, or whatever it may be.
And a lot of that is to do with confidence often.
Well, it is. It is. And then also, yes, I mean, you know, nowadays I think it's with the internet and everything, being able to know how to brand yourself, market yourself, you know, through social media, your web page. You're a brand after all. That's the way I like to look at it.
Yeah.
And giving people the right advice to build a nice, proper, solid brand. With the cards, okay, when that came to you, you thought of the idea.
Yeah.
How did that come to you? I mean, did you all of a sudden just, how did that happen?
I was looking for a card for my daughter, and I've told this story lots of times, but it's, I was looking for a card for her that would represent her, because she was going through this stage where she wanted to look everything that she didn't. You know, it doesn't make any sense, but you know, she wanted long straight hair like Barbie. She was 7. She has gorgeous curly brown hair, and so I went looking in the card stores for a little black princess, and just realized there was a complete absence of anything representing the society that we live in, which is probably the most multicultural city in the world.
Absolutely.
And I just thought that on a social level, it is really important that, you know, kids have access to images which represent them, positive images, and that, you know, it's important. We're bombarded, particularly girls, with ideals of beauty all the time, many of which are really unobtainable and unhealthy. And I wanted to create something which would kind of say, well, beauty comes in all guises, and you're beautiful just as you are. That's kind of the ethos behind the range. And on a commercial level, it just seemed like a crazy oversight, considering the market, and sort of came up with the idea for colorblind cards there and then.
And where are you with it now?
Now, it's been ticking along for the past few years because the PR has grown so quickly and been so intense. But recently I kind of reevaluated, and I'm spending a lot more time and focus now on colorblind. we have a wonderful position. You know, we have a really strong following, and with people that love the brand and love what we're doing, which is wonderful. So we are in South Africa and in the US in a small way. We're in Barbados and even Bermuda. We were in many of the Clinton stores until they went into liquidation recently. We're still in a few, and then lots of independents, and of course on our own website, which is colorblindcards.com.
Lovely. And I just wanted to ask you about Forward Ladies. I know you're part of it, you run an entrepreneurship, which is explaining a little bit about
Yeah,
it.
Forward Ladies, I was approached to do their PR a while back because I've been working with a lady who's on their board called Deirdre Bounds, who's incredibly inspirational. She founded I2I, the gap year travel company, and then she sold it for like 20 million. But I was working with her and she'd recommended me to handle their PR. And when I met up with Etta Cohen, who founded Forward Ladies in the year 2000, she explained that no one was running the London branch, and me being me, I decided to take it on. And so earlier this year, I took on London, which just means that I am responsible for putting on events, which I think will be of interest to anyone within the network or outside of. But we obviously give special care to our Forward Ladies members, and they come along and they hear inspiring speakers or get involved in skills workshops. The most recent one was Get Your Business in the Media, and we had someone from Twitter and myself and another PR expert spoke, which was really well received. And it's all about supporting other women in business at any level. So we're not elitist, which is really what appealed to me. Some of these groups can be quite cliquey, and I think that there's always common ground wherever you are in your business or professional life. So it's all about supporting and empowering and improving.
I think the world needs a lot more, well, networks like that, business women in general, everywhere.
Yeah.
We need women everywhere because you're so much better than us.
Thank you.
The last question I wanted to ask you, okay, what would you want your legacy to be?
Just as somebody that inspired and helped. It's probably as simple. I'd like to be, the vision for the brand is to be the market leader globally for multicultural greeting cards. And it's wonderful to be in South Africa because politically it's a real smooth step forward that people can walk into the high street and see black faces on greeting card shelves. And I want to just kind of spread that globally. When it's not about race, it's not about exclusivity, it's about inclusivity, and we're all one people. We're a human race, and I'm trying to create something which is all encompassing, and if that has a sort of a social trickle down effect, which makes kids, sometimes I do events and kids go, that's me and that's me and that's me, and that's it's not them, but it's like I get that because it's a novelty, and I want it to not be a novelty. And we want to do, we've got lots of plans, but someone who helped, I guess.
Very well done. Thank you very much. It was
Thank
very,
you.
very
Thank
nice.
you for having me.
Very nice. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for watching Inspiring People.
We can't hear you, Ruth.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Yeah, that was a lovely talk, really inspiring, and definitely she's on her way to meeting her legacy point for real. And we've got wonderful women here in the Empowering Women stage, and I'm just feeling really, really excited because it's just given me so much to think on, and I've been writing down my notes because that's what we want you to do, something to take away, to go over and regurgitate. So we've got another wonderful person coming up, and her name is Shami Pratt. And Shami is a certified life coach, spiritual advisor, international conference speaker, television host, prolific author, and an advocate for mental health wellness. She is the founder and CEO of Shami's Mind Management School, where she focuses on a series of teaching and publications that deal with regaining your focus with a strong emphasis on emotional and mental wellness. Welcome, Sharmi. Lovely to have you here.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
We're going to let you get on with your talk. We're just going to be waiting, sitting in the background and just learning from you.
All right. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Again, she has already introduced me. I am Sharmi Pratt, and I am the CEO of Sharmi's Mind Management Group. Today, I want to talk with you starting your mind for success. Again, starting your mind for success. One of the things that I don't think many of us realize, in order for us to achieve in life, we have to have one thing in order, and that's our mind. Wherever your mind is, that is literally where your life is going to follow. And if your mind is not geared towards success, you will begin to operate in a manner that's not towards your desired destiny. One of the things I want to say to everyone out there is, in order to jumpstart your mind for success, you have to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And you have to learn how to master your strengths, that you may overcome your weaknesses. Many of us tend to focus on the weak areas in our lives, and when we do that, we don't necessarily achieve the things that we know that we can achieve in life. But one of the things that I would like to tell you is begin to focus on your strengths. What are your empowerments? What are your strength areas? The things that you are strong in. When you begin to gear your mind towards those particular things, you begin to walk those things out based on how you have thought about a thing. One of the things that we have to understand is, as we think, we become. You literally become the very thing that you think. And many of us don't understand. Teach our thoughts in a manner that will help us to go toward our desired destiny in life. I have so many dynamics that I can share with you in this moment, because me, myself, I've always...
I think we've got a small hiccup with the connection. We're having trouble hearing you.
So it's the mic quality.
Yeah, mic
We're just going to get Sharmi to get her mic sorted, and she'll be back. Just a little technical hitch. But while that's happened, we've got some amazing offers, which I can run through real quick with you, because there's so much giveaway. So I hope that you're exploring the lobby area, that you've managed to get in, and you're looking at all the different rooms and stages that we have. But on offer, we have the Best You, which there's a 100 free memberships online. That's £159 per person. In total, that's $15,900 going away as an offer to you. And then we've got some other things as well. The question: do you have questions in your life that you need answers? Things that are going deep down inside your heart, your spirit, your mind, and your body? Well, Bernardo, he's written his book on the question, and he's also given that away audio. So you can be in your car, you can be at your home, listening at any time, and there are 1,000 going away on offer. So if you would like that, get involved, get into the giveaway so that you can access these wonderful gifts. Now, we're hoping that Sharmi's audio is now up and ready to rock and roll. And if she can come back to the stage. How you doing, Sharmi?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me now?
Well, I can hear there's something going on. It's like a little kind of sound. I'm not sure if you're using a microphone or if it's the connection. If you can give it a little jiggle.
Okay, I'm not using anything.
Closer to the mic and just see if that helps.
I can't even hear it.
Can you hear us?
I can. You're going in and out.
Okay, so maybe it could be an internet connection. So, Sharmi, hold on, bear with us. We'll work on it and we'll get you right back on the stage, because we are all in anticipation to hear what you have to offer.
I can't wait.
Okay.
So, should I keep running through some more of the offers?
Yeah, we just need to mention as well, Ruthie, you have to be in the person's webinar on the live expo to win. So whatever prize that really attracts you, you need to have logged in and watched their live performance. They will then be drawn and put on the Facebook Best You page, or you will be emailed. So, and if I was sitting at home, I know the ones I would be sitting in: Lisa Nichols, Motivated in the Math, Abundance of Life, £1,000 program. Wouldn't that be amazing? To have that as a prize. You need to be logging into these guys,
Yeah,
and watching them. My other favourite one is Dr. Faye Wilson, An Hour of Life Coaching. That's $2,000.
I know there's a lot of value on a lot of these giveaways. Like, we're talking thousands and thousands of US dollars, pounds, whichever currency you're using. And the thing is, you're going to gain something that is lifelong. That's really what I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
Let's see what other ones we've got. We've got here.
The Best You Online. Featuring in-depth interviews, motivational talks, and inspiring masterclasses from the world's top experts, motivational speakers, business gurus, and thought leaders. Leaders and influencers from all over the world are here to share their knowledge and skills with you. With over 500 speakers, The Best You Online is a priceless mine of personal development wisdom, knowledge, and practical information to help you take charge of your life and take you, your business, and career beyond where you have always wanted to go. The Best You Online.
Tell me what the Olympics, what they represent, and what it was to represent your country. And
to compete for your country at that level it's just incredible, because it's the peak of anything that you could ever wish to do. So although World Championships, Europeans, other competitions were important, for me competing at Paralympics was all I wanted to do. I competed at 5, and when I think about how many friends and colleagues along the way who were all trying to do that, who maybe didn't even get to compete at 1, to then be at 5 was amazing. And I always remember from my first one through to my 4th, always knowing I was going to do another 4 years, that I wanted that moment again, because it's the crowd, it's you have the best in the world who are there, and it's great, huge pressure. And I remember, before each of my finals, being in the sort of warm-up track, about 2 hours before, thinking, what am I doing here? Am I good enough? You ask yourself all those questions, and that's the point where you have to look back at your training and your preparation and know that you've done everything you could. So I like training. Training was good. I mean, it'd be nice to not to have to do quite as much of it, but the only way I knew I was going to have a chance of winning was to train 15 times a week, was to do everything in my life to make sure when I was on that start line I had the best chance. Because after a race at the Paralympic final, you can't say, "Excuse me, can we just do that again, please?" You have 16 seconds, 28 seconds, whatever it is. You have this short space of time to prove that you're good, and you can't go back. The mindset and the drive is hugely important, to make yourself train every day, actually, because there are some times when, if it's -5 and it's foggy outside, and you have to do 20 miles training, you're not there going, "Yay, I'm a GB athlete, aren't I?" And that there are moments when you get to train in very nice places around the world, and it's different. But when you're tired and you've got blisters and you're in the middle of a winter training session where it feels forever before you're going to compete again, you have to have something that makes you go out and do the things you don't like doing. Not necessarily the things you like doing tend to be the things that you're good at, but you get most improvement from doing the things that you maybe don't like or not so good at doing. And I think that's one of the things that I was good at, was making myself do the hard graft, because you knew that's all pennies in the bank. It all makes a difference for when you come to that start line. So, my Paralympic career, 5 games, 11 goals, is 19.5 minutes. I didn't have very long to prove myself. So for me, that's why I trained hard, because I knew I had this ultimately limited time to achieve.
What is determination to you?
Determination is knowing what you want. I think being very honest about where you are now, because you have to know your starting point if you've got a goal, if you're trying to achieve something. And it's about not giving up. It's about doing everything you have to, doing things you like doing things you don't like doing. And there's belief in there as well. You know, if you're determined to reach a goal, there will be points which is really hard and it feels like it's not worth it and you might be going backwards. But you have that belief in yourself that you will get there. And I think probably people who know me, they would be polite if they say I was determined. There's other names I've been called as well, but I think it's that ability to push yourself really hard, to believe that you're doing the right thing.
Are you sick and tired of struggling to get your career to where you want it to be? Working with the right coach can be a life-changing experience, and Bernardo Moya is changing lives all over the world. Learn how to create revenue streams, attract higher qualified clients consistently, market your brand, and promote your business to a global audience. Bernardo is one of the biggest names in the world of personal development. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and a founder and chief inspirational officer of the Best You Corporation. So fast-track your career now.
Welcome back, Charmy. Third time's a charm.
Oh my goodness. Can you hear me now? No.
I can hear you.
We can hear you. There's just like a little thing.
Yeah, I hear with you when I'm talking. Yeah, I hear it. I'm not for sure what this is.
Might be it.
I think it could possibly be an audio issue.
Audio. Okay.
Do you have headphones?
I have an Apple headphone.
Yeah, try that. That might help take out that background tinging sound, because we are so wanting to hear from you today.
Get off our own heart.
Like, seriously.
Like I'm having, okay. It's delaying and everything now, so let me see. Okay. You may need to put me back down because I don't think my headphones are connected. I haven't connected them to them, so.
All right, that's fine. We will definitely have you back. We're just going to sort out these technical issues and we'll be right back. Sarah, can I ask you?
Yes, my lovely.
Can you let people know how they access these giveaways again?
So the giveaways, okay, for you to receive the giveaways or win the giveaways, what you need to be doing is logging in and watching the webinar. So for example, Jen Buck, Complete Health Revolution, Restore Your Gut Health. Who wouldn't want a $12,000 or pounds, whatever country you're in, to know how to restore your gut health? So you would log in and watch her, and then that automatically enters you into the prize draw. Okay, then it's automated generated, and someone will be chosen as a winner. It will then be put up on the Best You Facebook community group, and they will receive an email. But you've got to be in it to win it. These are priceless. If you think about gut health with this Jen Buck, that's where your immune system is. Your gut is your second mind as well. So who would not want to listen to someone at the top of their game and actually get a $12,000 prize? I know I would. And I'm thinking, oh, I could do that. Oh, people, log in, be drawn to the person you want to be drawn to. Wherever your business is. It might be that you're building your business and you want coaching, and I believe there's lots of different things like building your social media with some of these top experts, taking your business to the next level. Working with Bernardo at the Best You, and he will promote you, and he is promoting the top people, and he is giving prize winnaways for that. So my advice is to anybody, okay, is it's there for the taking. Make that choice, commit, watch, and being a chance to win.
Absolutely. There's, like you said, one-to-one coaching going. There's Bethany London. She's also given one-to-one clearing sessions. Now, imagine clearing some of the junk in your mind that is, you know, making you procrastinate on things that you really want to desire. There just comes that point where you just want to break through and achieve those goals. And I think that one session, $1,000. So there are some amazing giveaways that are coming up right about now. So all you've got to do is, like Sarah Jane said, be in it to win it. You have to watch them to see what's happening. And then you can be in it to get these wonderful prizes. Bernardo's all over this Best Stew, really, isn't he? He's in the main stage, he'll be in the other rooms. Whether he'll pop in here, I don't know. But, you know, we're going to get to pop to see him tomorrow. And then there'll be that opportunity that you can get any of those prizes too. So we're going to ask you to come along with us because we want you to be able to access all the gifts that are on offer for you.
Bernardo's there. He's
You got to look at yourself as a brand. A lot of people don't necessarily do that. And in order to stand out, you need to be different. Don't be a copycat. There's a lot of people doing the same kind of things and copying a lot of other people. What you need to start doing is you need to start positioning yourself as a unique individual with unique expertise. There's a lot of people that want to make a difference, but they're not following their own messages. They're not following whatever it is that they preach. So I highly recommend that you walk your talk. You don't copy other people. You take yourself seriously. You take your brand seriously, but you also look at opportunities to either partner with people or find the platforms where you can speak. The platforms where you're going to have hundreds or thousands of people attending. And that's the best way for you to start connecting and meeting and working with individuals. It's the best, it's the easiest way, and it can happen very, very quickly.
Now, the Best You personal and professional development virtual expos are happening globally in 2020 and 2021. Whether you want to speak, exhibit, or attend. These are online events for all those passionate about living a better life, creating a better world, gaining greater mindfulness and meaning in these new times, and becoming the best version of themselves. Book your speaking slot, your virtual booth, and get tickets to attend now. Are you sick and tired of struggling to get your career to where you want it to be? Working with the right coach can be a life-changing experience, and Bernardo Moya is changing lives all over the world. Learn how to create revenue streams, attract higher qualified clients consistently, market your brand, and promote your business to a global audience. Bernardo is one of the biggest names in the world of personal development. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and a founder and chief inspirational officer of the Best You Corporation. So fast track your career now.
My approach when it comes down to life really is about the holistic approach. And the holistic means is that everything that you do is important for you to become who you need to become. It starts with becoming aware of your thoughts. It starts surrounding yourself with the right people, focusing on the things that are important, building relationships, love. It's all important. It's all part of the process of growing. Life's too short. And if you don't really focus on where you're going and where you want to do and who you want to become, what's going to happen is eventually one day you will regret it. One of the most important questions I ask in the book, my book, the question is, what are you here for? What is your purpose? And we're all here for a reason. You need to understand what that reason is, and you need to start working towards it now.
The Best You is leading the way in the industry of personal and professional growth. Through our magazine, expos, e-learning, TV, club, and awards, The Best You's objective is to help people achieve their dreams, to do more, to be more, to live a life without limits. Join us if you believe in helping and inspiring others in changing the world, in making it a more just and fair place through education and inspiration. Our goal: everyone, everywhere, now. If you are interested in making a difference, working, partnering, volunteering, supporting, or even licensing the best you, let's talk. Let's work together and make the world a better place.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live.
Welcome back to the Best You Expo Virtual. We've had a small hiccup with our last guest, obviously time difference and being in the UK. We are hoping to get Shami back later on, and hopefully you'll be able to watch it. So let's move forward with today. This afternoon, we've got Anne-Marie Diamond coming up with how to embed your superstar confidence. Fiona Campbell thinking about your behaviours. Sherry as well. She's doing Create a Life Passion. But next, we have our own Ruthie. So Ruth Carter is the Liberty Coach. She is a master practitioner and she works with youths. She's developed many programs and she rolls these out across the UK, working in schools and working with mental health. This week is Children's Mental Health Week, and she is working with parents and children to ensure they have the skills and tips to get through this lockdown, working at home, and even when they go back to school. So without further ado, I would like to present to you Ruth Carter.
Hey, welcome everyone to the Empowering Women stage. I'm Ruth Carter, the Liberty Coach, and I'm just here just to share some tips, some nuggets with you on addressing mental health is everyone's business. It has been surely a tough time lately, but we're in the start of another brand new year. It's 2021. We're in February. We've got some good things coming up in the months or the weeks ahead. All that loving that's going to be happening across the planet, which we'll all be celebrating globally. But how do we feel really inside? And where is our mental health right now? When did we last do our mental health checks? When did we last look inside to say, how am I feeling right in this moment? Many of us are going through different challenges as to what is happening for us in this life instead of to us. So yeah, it's a global experience, it's a global pandemic, but we are individuals that we've got the strength and the tenacity to get through. And with some of the tips I want to share with you is looking at the holistic approach, not just at young people, but everyone involved, because things have changed. Now, yes, thank you, Sarah, for that lovely introduction. I develop wellbeing programs based on NLP to help change people's life. You know, if we can change our behaviors, it will change the way we think and feel, and it will change what we do. Some people for the last how many months have been stuck in their bedrooms, not doing much. And on the flip side, there are others who have been stuck in their bedrooms, creating, being very imaginative and actually putting their ideas into good use. There's a couple of young people I'll mention later on, but for now, where are you today? Now, back in the day, I'm here based in London, UK. We had a policy which isn't really quite there anymore, called Every Child Matters. I remember my days in the social care. I loved this one because there were outcomes that needed to be met? Are we meeting the outcomes for ourselves? I have read that even in this challenging times, people have increased with domestic abuse. There's been an increase of incidences where children under the age of 1 have been going to the hospital, has increased with injuries when we've all been at home. Children aged 1 to 5, incidences have increased. Domestic abuse has increased, and these are all very negative things that are happening. When we're at home, should be the safest place it should be, but it's not that case for all. There are many children who are struggling to log on to the online homeschooling simply because of lack. They don't have the resources that they actually need. They don't have the laptop. They don't have internet access. And through support from schools, from government, they're trying to make it so that everyone can have access. So when I say everyone's business, I really mean it's everyone's business, including me and you. Now, we are fortunate to live in a time that if you have those opportunities to access the internet, there's lots and lots of positive things out there. But equally, there are things out there that are not always going to give us the best advice or the best tools. Are we looking at things that are going to elevate us and make us feel good, or are we looking at things that are going to make us feel a bit miserable and a bit down? Me, I've chosen to take the upper route. The route where we can elevate our self-esteem, elevate our confidence to do better. But it starts with one simple step, making that decision that you want to change, making that decision that you are aware of how you're feeling and you want to do something different. Or even if you're feeling really good, we have this ability where we can intensify those feelings. Now, I do develop wellbeing programs for children and young people in schools, and it's with the main purpose to increase their self-esteem and their confidence. And sometimes when you're battling with mental health in schools, you can be labelled with special educational needs. It's not that you may have learning needs or medical needs, it's just that your mental capacity at that time means it's very hard, very difficult and challenging to absorb the information because your mind is elsewhere. Through NLP, I help young people to focus on what matters the most. And I also help them to clear up some of those negative feelings, some of that negative self-chat that can happen in your head. Now, we are being governed by our governments on what we're supposed to do. And being a law-abiding citizen, if they say you get 1 hour exercise, take the exercise. That will do you the world of good. There are many young people, like I mentioned before, sitting up in their rooms, stuck and doing nothing. Going out for a walk will give you the opportunity to clear your head. And some of those things that are mulling around, you may even find whispering out of your voice. One of the techniques I love to do is writing, journaling, getting things out. Now, I mentioned negative self-talk. There are times we will say things that have no use and no benefit to our well-being and our growth or development. In fact, sometimes we can be our own worst bully. What I would advise and challenge you to do is to hear what you're saying to yourself and write it down on a piece of paper. It could be one, it could be several things. But this is a good tip. Write down all those negative things that you say to yourself. Put it down on a piece of paper. And this exercise may seem, irrelevant. But I'd like you to then go back and read that. Read those things, and how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel the same way as you did when it was inside your head? Or does it look different on the paper? Does it feel different? When you see those words and the things that you're saying about yourself that are no good, how does it really make you feel? Like I said, we need to address our mental health because it is everyone's business, including yours and mine. Look at that paper, see what it says. And if there's a different feel, that's a good thing, because you know what is on that paper is probably not true. So I'd like you to take that, look at it and rip it up into small pieces. Now, because I encourage young people to do some of these techniques, I don't say burn it because of safeguarding. I don't want them to get hurt. But as adults, grown people, women, men that are probably here listening to this section, rip it up and hear the sound of the tear as you rip that paper into small pieces, so much so that you can't see those words. Take those negative words and put it out in the trash where it belongs. And you know, when you get your bin date and you see that bin driver come along and drive that negativity away, even better. So that's another technique I want to share with you. But as I've said, it is everyone's business. It gets worse if we don't address it now. Now, one of the things I would ask young people when I'm collating baselines, because a lot of the reporting I would do would go to public health. The information I shared with you about all those young people under age 1 going through incidences, that came to me from public health. And I was like thinking, wow, the parents are really struggling. So I decided to continue helping parents with doing parenting lives, giving them tools and techniques. And through that engagement, I'm hearing things. Oh, I'm suffering with PTSD. PTSD. Now, you know, I would say like PTSD is linked to war and trauma and past experiences. And I'll be like, what's happened? What's going on? And this CV19, because I don't even want to give it its name, has caused so much fear, anxiety, and frustration. And people are saying they have PTSD. I'm sure that may not have been the government's intention, but that is what is happening to some of the caregivers. I've worked with professional parents who are struggling with the behaviours of their young adults, teens, children, young adults, and they are finding that they are not able to be in line, or there's no peace in their home. You know, my advice sometimes is create a plan. Create how you want your family to be. Create how you want your life to be. See it for what it is and see it in a different way for how you want it to be, so that you know the difference between the two and that you know exactly what you are working towards. Sometimes we see the bigger picture, the better and the brighter future. But what does that really look like for you as an individual? Because what it looks like for me would be probably completely different. But what I would invite you to do is continue to take steps for your own success. Life changes on a day-to-day basis. You know what? Cut down listening to the news. Spend your time here at the Best You. Spend your time with others that are seeking and they're striving to live a better life. Now, I know if you're young and you're listening to this, because I did put this out on my platform, and normally I would be speaking in the youth section to other teachers and parents, just to encourage them and just to let them know about the joys that I've come into contact with the use of NLP, not only just for life-changing experiences, but for some of the strategies that really, really work. There are times, you know, people are feeling so hard up and against it all that you might need that fast phobia cure just for things for you to break through and move along. But with us as individuals, let us be aware of where we are right now. Now, I mentioned there was an Every Child Matters policy that we would have in the UK, which really would focus on the emotional well-being, the physical, and all those aspects of the child. But what about us as the adults raising these children? Like, for real, sometimes our own children want to come up in our face and be very, very disrespectful. They want to cuss at us, they want to swear, and they want to say all manner of things out of frustration. But you know what? My advice is to continue to love, continue to cherish, and continue to model how you want things to be. Can you believe that in my house, I would say to my daughter especially, I said, I feel like I'm a victim of domestic abuse because of the way how she wanted to be talking to me. But I took the time to visualize how I wanted to be. And you know, sometimes you just got to love and love and love all that disrespect out of them until you get the respect that you actually deserve. Share your feelings. Because when I said that's how I was feeling, she was shocked. Because she knows what domestic abuse is. She knows that it's about violence and about your emotions. And sometimes the verbal, sometimes we put our own selves down with the things that we're saying. You're not good enough. You're not worthy. This, that, the other. The truth of the matter is you are good enough. The truth of the matter is you are worthy. The truth of the matter is you do deserve the best, each and every one of us, regardless of what our start in life was. There is a gift in all of us. And I was encouraging parents that we are the gifts that our children need. Sometimes, you know, they are here to teach us some of life's best lessons. But it's really important that we talk about mental health as though it is something that we can improve instead of something that we're so ashamed of. There is no shame in having mental health. There is no shame in having depression. But if you choose to do nothing about it, that's when those feelings start to grow bigger and bigger. And I just challenge you today that what is happening in the world is happening for us. What have you learned throughout this time? I've learned health really is wealth. Like, we really need to look at ourselves. And some of us have underlying health issues that we didn't even know we had. And I'm saying address it. So part of mental health is seeking help, seeking support, going to your GP. It is something that you need to be supported on, and you don't have to do it alone. You may start off wanting that change, but you can seek the support of others. There are many coaches, there are many therapists, psychologists out there that know and understand how the mind works. They know how success works because they model from those that are successful. And I challenge you to do the same. And that is what I did. I modeled from those that were successful. I took advice from those that were successful in their field, and I share it with the parents and with the teachers and with the young people who are struggling. So we've covered getting out. Get out of your own zone. You know, comfort zone can sometimes be the place where, you know, it's not your friend. But going into that stretch, finding that more of you, if it means that you are an artist and you draw, and let the world see your soul through your drawings. Know that we all have something to contribute on this planet. And if we can focus on putting out more positive things, encouraging things, even Jessica Hughes said that encouragement, you know, that meant a lot. And it does. It means a lot. Putting people down right about now, oh, we're in fragile times. That is not going to be helpful. But if we can seek out and recognize that one thing, it may be a few, in fact, that someone does, let's highlight that instead of what they are not doing. So we need to take the time to talk, have the time with good friends. I say good friends because I had a best friend that when I called her up, I actually felt worse. And for a while, I couldn't understand why I was feeling that way. So I'm saying choose who you talk to real carefully on your mental health, because I felt very miserable sometimes after this conversation. And then there's that saying, misery loves company. Well, not today. Do you know what I did? I decided one day, just one day, not to call this friend. That was 10 years ago. I have not heard from that person since, because she never picked up the phone. So I realised, actually, you know what, Ruth, you were causing your own misery because you kept calling her friend. Yep, she was a friend, but she was just so down and overweight. Well, do something about it. If you're not happy with something, do something about it. But it was just that pulling down. So just be aware. Be aware of your circle, be aware of your surroundings and your environment, and who you are letting into your space and who you're sharing things with. That was the best tip for me. I just didn't call back. And she never called, because I was like thinking, well, if she calls me, she calls. But she never called. So for me, that was probably a blessing in disguise, because I was free. I was free from that misery for that moment, or listening to all that down talk. And sometimes you've got to be honest and say, do you know what, friend, you might need a doctor, you might need to go and check someone. In fact, back then I wasn't skilled, didn't have the skills that I had. But even with a call with my girlfriends, we had a lovely Zoom call just to perk each other up, and that CV19 always seems to come up. Now, everyone feels different. I know how I feel on it. And sometimes it may come out a little bit harsh. But in that, a friend called and said, is everything all right? How are you feeling? And I was like, because you came over a little bit, agitated. And yeah, I was, because I just really struggle when I hear people talking about fear of death and fear of this and that. It really starts to grate me, because I don't know, maybe because I was brought up in church, I just do not feel that this is the end. I feel that when we transform from this plane, we do transform to another. And I believe that place is created right here in our thoughts. Why I say that? Because I listened to this lady who was talking and sharing about her time when she took her life. She was like, she was out. And in that moment when they were bringing her back and resuscitating her, she said nothing could change, nothing. And I thought to myself, God, imagine that. You feel like on earth is a living hell, and you go and do something like that, and then you're still living that? I was like, no, not for me. I want to continue to create and be of use here on this planet, to help the young people, to motivate them for greatness, to recognize that they still have a future, regardless of what is happening right here on earth. But what I am saying to each and every one of you, talk to someone, get out, do your exercise, seek professional help. If you need counseling, go for it. If you need anything that is good for you, go for it. Change your diet. This is something that I've done. I've just decided to cut down on meat. Prepare your meals. Do your hair. Every now and then, do your makeup. Put on some nice clothes. Do the things that are going to make you feel real good and really, really positive about what you're doing in your life. So, as I'm coming down, what is it that you want to aspire to right now? What is it that a dream, a thought that you thought could not be possible is probably more possible now than ever before? I heard on the news today that the economy is swiftly going to be rising. You need to be a part of that, and so do I. What gifts do you have? What talents? What skills? What can you contribute that will not only improve you, but improve the lives of others? One of the things I found to be key in addressing mental health is being grateful for what you have. And there are things that we do want to work towards, and they are possible. But we have to recognize the things that we have, the children that we have, the job that we have. And if you don't have a job, create the job that you want. Take the time to think about where and what it is that you want to do that makes you happy. If it's just about the money and paying the bills, sometimes that may not be a joyous experience. But imagine being able to contribute, create, develop something that is coming straight from you that helps other people. And just those words of thanks just makes you feel really good. But everyone's got to earn their coin. And so imagine you're getting that as well as a reward of the gratitude that you're putting out into the universe. So what I would say to you right now is, we are where we are. Love yourself. Think about yourself in the positive. Visualize where you want to be in your future. See it plain as day. Hear what you hear. See what you see, and feel what you feel, and write these things down. Create the plan for your life. Create the vision for your life, and take the steps to doing it. Because as you go into that moment and you surround yourself with what you see and hear and feel, you will be surprised about what you can achieve. And then to actually manifest it, that's just the icing on the cake. But would you believe that was all inside you all along? Yeah. So parents, teachers alike, I know it is a struggle, but you have what it takes. You have the tenacity, the patience, the drive to get through this time. And so I am bidding you so much love, so much grace right now, and to address your mental health. It is everyone's business. And if it means tapping on the neighbour's door, do that. If that's the person that you feel is there for you. My neighbour, didn't see her for a few weeks, and then said to me, Ruth, I was sectioned. I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? She was like, she just couldn't cope with life, couldn't cope. And she felt that being sectioned was like a holiday. And I'm glad she could reframe it in that way, that she turned her stress into something that felt to her as a break. But you know what? We can't run away from ourselves. So my best advice is, let's address our mental health. Let's work on our well-being, our development. Let's contribute something positive, because, you know, we'll find that there's so much more that we can give. And thank you all for the time that you've taken to listen to my talk. I hope you get value and something from it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ruth, for your amazing inspiration and the work that you do with these children. We need more people like you, because it is just a global event at the moment where these children and parents need help worldwide, especially with the lockdown that is going on. It's just what the world needs. So,
and you know what you were saying about people are getting zoomed out and stuff. It's what you're listening to. I'd say listen to good content. Things that are going to really rejuvenate you, make you feel good, have that laughter, that spark in your eyes. And I think that will help.
Yeah, definitely. It is about managing them skills, having strategies for these youngsters, for them to have coping skills as well. And people like you that go into schools and help. Sometimes children need to listen to someone else, not their parents. And that's what someone like you can really offer them. So I've seen your programs, I've seen the transformations you've had in children, and even the teachers and the parents are so grateful for you. And you're just that outside resources that everybody needs. And someone like you should be running these programs in nearly all the schools. This should be global.
It should be. It should be. I'm one person, and you know me, Sarah. I've got people like you. We've got other coaches to build our brands, and I feel like well-being is key for everyone. Everyone, right about now. I've worked with professionals. Like I said, I'm back in social care. I'm working back with them to help look after children, and it is so challenging because when children are left, they become adults, and it's tiring to see young adults who should not have to have mental health issues go through that. When I'm like, well, what's your future? What's your plan? And I don't know. So I'm like, let's create one. So I really thought it's so important to do that.
And that is a true gap. And I have experienced this when my son come out of school and they literally fall straight out the system. There is a massive gap that no one covers, and it is it's the building blocks and the foundations to their life. And without that, that's why a lot of these youngsters fail and hit hard times instead of just going out there and having the skills to live. So yeah, but thank you very, very much. It's been a pleasure to actually see you in action and sharing your top tips. And we look forward to seeing so much more for you. But for now, we are going to go to a short break.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live. Best You Store, helping you do more, achieve more, be more. Stores.thebestyou.co.
Hi and welcome back. I'm Sarah Jane, and today I've come to talk to you about my weight loss transformation and how I can help you and give you some tips and strategies and helping yourself. So now is the best time ever to take responsibility for your health and wellness. It's a crazy world out there at the moment, but at the end of the day, we can't really control what goes on out there, but we can control ourselves. We control what's going on with us. Over the last 20 years, I have worked with some amazing people. I have trained in things from the woo-woo spiritual stuff that I never thought I would ever do to the NLP. So working with the mind and body and the spirit with people as a whole. And this is where people get the results. So go back 20 years ago and I weighed over 35 stone. So in theory, I've lost 25 stone. That's 350 pounds. And it is really hard to believe when people look at me and they don't know me to even imagine that I was that big before. Now, on my journey, you have to actually just stop and take a moment and pause and look at yourself. And people say, how did I do it? And what was my kickstart? Well, there's a few kickstarts for me. Imagine being 35 stone and standing in the doctor's surgery and the dial just goes round and he goes, oh, you're about 35 stone, but I'm not quite sure because my scales just goes over. And you look at him and you're like, And at this point, you're sitting on 2 doctor's chairs covering them. Now, to give you an idea of my size, because we would never really know my true weight, I would have to go through a door sideways and pull myself in. Yeah, I couldn't fit in a bath. And I had to give up driving because there was no way that steering wheel was moving, because it got to the point I had an indent in my stomach and I couldn't even get the seatbelt on. I did rack up some tickets. So you have to draw a line at a certain point. Now, that day I'd gone to the doctors and they'd run normal tests and everything. And it doesn't matter how many times they actually tell you you need to lose weight, there needs to be a point. My point was, he actually said to me, look at yourself. Imagine what it would be like if you weren't here. And not once did he say you need to lose weight. He changed his language, which pricked my ears up. Who else would there be to look after your children? My children are 5 and 3. My son was already showing lots of slow development problems. He was a character. He was the wild child, not through his own fault. And it had already caused divides in my family where people would ask me, well, at 3 years old, not to bring him round. Okay. So he said, just stop and think, who is going to be there? Who is going to step forward and look after them children? He goes, because where we're concerned, you're one of these trendy mums and there's no one else better to do it. And he said, imagine as well, the services are so poor. There's not enough money to go around these children. And in years to come, there's not going to be services. They're so limited. And I remember leaving that doctor's surgery with the kids and they were walking in front and something shifted, but not quite. And then it took another event a few months later. You ponder and you're like, yeah. So you've got your reason why. Then you need your motivation. Now, something happened to me and this was my motivation. And this kicked me into action. I was given a second chance. And I knew, for me, I brought these children into the world. I was their mother and I was going to look after them. Okay. And it was another personal thing for me because I didn't have the best childhood. I wanted to give my kids what I never had. So I embarked on this transformation. Now, a lot of people will relate to me being really, really big. And there's going to be a few people that only have a few pounds to lose, a couple of stone, 5, 6 stone. But everything I'm going to share today, doesn't matter how big you are or what you need to change about yourself. There's going to be some strategies here for you to work with. Okay. So first thing was, for me, people say, how did you get that big? Negativity. Fam, yeah. You're fat. You're never going to change. You're always going to be big. This is you. And this was my own family. I was known as a podgy kid, and all they did was program me. You're going to be nothing when you're older. You're always going to be fat. You're never going to make it in life. I had to remove myself. Now, I'm not saying to people, remove your family, but this is something I needed to do. I needed to step away from all these negative people and go into myself, go into my own headspace. And I needed to do it for 2 reasons: to look after my child and to save my life. Because that is what I did. They actually gave me a year to live. And he said, I'd be lucky if I got through the next year. So after this life event, I did decide to just zip. The family went and I went into my own little world dealing with the children. There was no internet back then. There was no special diets back then. There was about 3 branded diet weight loss companies and I did it all and ended up bigger. So I had to think of a way that worked for me. And this is how I work with clients now. And I say to them, what do you like and what works for you? And we'll build around it. And it's like building this foundation, building the blocks to your foundation. I don't believe the word diet. I don't use the word diet. You are changing your long-term health and well-being, and only you can do that. No one else can do that. So you need to find your reason why. You need to find your motivation. And it can be a dark place. But guess what? You build yourself up the whole time. It's taking responsibility for yourself. You can go to the doctor and they go, well, he told me to lose weight and I've come away, didn't help me. Well, the onus is on you. It comes from within here. It comes from you. You have to decide what is right for you. It's like it's coaching yourself. So what I say to people, I didn't know NLP back then. I did not know hypnosis back then. I didn't know coaching. I was literally in a profession. I had to give up my job because I was too big to work. I ended up on benefits. I left my other half. It was the job. It was convenience store. We were always eating, unconscious eating. It was unhappy relationship, and it was family. They were my three things. And then it was like, yep, we're all up to school. Everyone was going to go to the gym. 4 people started at the gym. I was the only one left. I made that confirmed decision in myself. This is what I need to do for me. Instead of going back to people's houses for a cup of coffee, I would go off to the gym, and I had to walk there and back, which you can imagine is quite hard when you're quite big. Yes, I did all the back ways so no one could see me, but also addressing my food issues. So when you're looking at changing yourself, what I didn't know back then, and this is another reason the NLP world opened up what I was doing, was I used to go into myself and I used to feel it in here. I used to visualize it. And I had this every night when I went to bed, I'd visualize how I was going to look and feel. And even on my journey, people used to go, you're not going to do it. And these are just general people. So the best advice I can give you is don't tell people what you're doing. We all go, I'm going to do this diet. I'm going to do that. Forget it. You're not on a diet. Just be a leader. Don't be a follower. Look at yourself. What is right for you? What is your lifestyle? What is something you're going to stick to? Look at what you're putting in front of you. Food is a fuel for your body. It feeds your body. That's all it is. Food is also an energy for your body. Yes, I work on an energetic level, but what I say to people is work with food first. The rest will all come into it. Look at what you're doing. Look at the areas of your areas you want to work on. Look at your water intake. Put strategies into place. Me, and I still do it now, I actually have my bottles of water out in my kitchen. And I know that I have to drink them during the day. And I just go in there naturally and do it. Before lockdown, there was always a bottle of water in my car. And that's how I learned to drink water. And people say, I don't like water. Well, learn. Just learn. Put a hydrate tablet in it. Disguise the taste. Break it all down. Visualize what you are doing. Another thing that I found really, really powerful is planning. Now, you can plan to fail because you haven't planned, or you can plan to succeed. Taking that small amount of time, half an hour, and writing down your food. Now, this is really important. Start with the foods that you like. Slowly incorporate the healthy foods in. I didn't eat veg before. I didn't eat salads. I actually crave them now. And all I did was slowly incorporate, change your taste buds, change your taste buds. Work with this plan. Plan. People will also say, well, I don't get time. If you get time to sit and watch TV, because you're watching in the UK, it's like Coronation Street, you have time to do a plan. So how I work with people now is really get them to sit with themselves and take that time for themselves and make this a daily ritual. This is a routine, sitting with yourself and asking yourself, what do you need? Yes, we're mums, we're dads, because I work with men as well. What do you need? Who are we? What do you need to change? And you change it slowly, building the foundations for this long-term health and wellness, working out and listening to your body. So once you have a plan, writing down your meals, visualize and play it out in front of you of how that week is going to go. You can do this at any point of the day or lying in bed when you're going to sleep. So there's no excuse. We choose who we're going to be, and we have that inside us. So once you've done this, go shopping. And this is where it goes wrong for a lot of people. They end up going, buy one, get one free. Oh, doesn't that look nice? Doesn't this look nice? And end up, the shopping list goes out the window. You need to be confirmed. This is what I'm going to do. I've played it out in front of me. And think about how you're going to feel and how good you're going to feel when you've actually successfully bought that food shopping and eaten what your body needs. So when you go shopping, stay on plan. Don't let your eyes wander. I had a little thing, and terminology is quite wrong because I made myself fat, but I would go around going, oh, you made me fat, and walk away from it. Or I'd walk through the bakery, turnovers, and it was like, oh, no, you made me fat, and I'd carry on walking. That is a little thing that I put inside me, and it worked, and I still do it now. Because smells and tastes, we can be drawn, that self-control can go, and then before you know it, it's in our mouths. And that is what we are changing. Look at other people's shopping trolleys as you go around. It's amazing. I do it now. I literally have a small amount of food. I even go to local farm shops to get my veg, and I have strategies of doing my cleaning stuff separate. It's actually cheaper. And then come home and be proud of yourself. This is all about recognizing the small steps that you're taking of containing and taking control. People do not recognize themselves. They go, well, I did it the other day, but I haven't done it today. More you recognize and congratulate yourself that you've done this small achievement, you start to feel good, and you start to feel even better. And when you've completed a week and you realize how good you feel, and I say to people, recognize how food makes you feel. Does it decomplete your energy? Does it make you bloated and sluggish? Recognize it. I always say to people, always consult a doctor. Obviously, I'm not medical at all, but I can help you move forward. And having belief. You have to have belief in yourself. Believing that you can do this long term. And this is the internal dialogue, which I never knew I was doing until I met Paul McKenna. And it is coaching yourself. You've got the good cop and the bad cop. I want this, but what's it going to do to me? Actually, I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel high vibrational. I don't want to feel bloated. I don't want to feel, and I am going to feel the good. Now, we all have accountability to ourselves. So being accountable for yourself as well. And people say, I had a bad day yesterday. What do I do? That's fine. Dust yourself down, pick yourself back up, and you start fresh. And that is one of the most important things. They go, oh, I didn't do too well yesterday. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? And they're, oh, yeah. It is. You literally brush yourself down, you pick yourself back, and you get back on plan. Okay? Don't follow others. If someone goes to me, oh, my diet, my friend's doing this, my friend's doing that. I always go back to, what do you need? What does your body need? Who are you? That is why I was successful. I learned to listen to my body. I looked at what I needed. And this took me on my journey. The other biggest question people say to me is your skin. Yeah, I've got good skin because I've looked after my skin and I've visualized my skin and every cell in my body regenerating. Not only did I put the good nutrition in, I visualized it. I used to lie in bed visualizing it. I'm a visual person. This is really important to know. What kind of person are you on any transformational journey? And I find out with my clients how they learn. And for me, visual, I have to have a bottle on my coffee table, a bottle of oil. If I'm sitting down in front of that TV, I'm having time out, I'll be massaging my skin. Close the curtain, short skirt on, no one's going to see me while I'm in my own home. So I put things into place of my weak areas. So it's like looking at where are your weak areas? What do you need to grow? And you build it in one at a time. The worst thing for anyone to do is go, I'm going on this Smash's health kit. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to do that. You go boom. Foundations. It is building blocks all the way up. It is making small, long-term changes, building new habits. This creates your life. You just need to ask yourself, what is right for you? How can you help yourself? Build your daily routine. Even if you're changing one thing a day, I know my routine. I know I get up. I know I have a herbal tea. I know I take my first lot of vitamins. Don't overload yourself with vitamins as well. Always seek. I come across so many people and they're taking too many vitamins. Your body can only handle so much. I have my mornings, I have late mornings, and I have evenings. Your body's healing and restoring. And this is where I go back to the skin as well. People pay thousands, hundreds of pounds for skincare. Water's free. It's that simple. You drink water, you get good skin. It does so much for yourself. Digestive system. Listen to your digestive system. It also needs water. It is your second mind, your second gut. It is a source of energy. So there's lots of little things you can do. My advice to people, do a plan for yourself. Work out where your weakest points are. Make a plan of food. Stick to that. Believe me, you're going to save money. People say to me, oh, it's all right for you. Why is it all right for me? I had no money. I used to feed me and the kids on £16 a week. It did help, but over the years, I've still stick to that plan. I still go to the local farm shops. I still do one shop of my cleaning. I always do my cleaning because then I know what's going on food and not. Writing down your plan, putting strategies, visualizing how you're going to look, taking that time out. Even if you're getting up an hour early than everybody else, half an hour. Breaking routines. Don't come downstairs and put the TV on and plonk yourself in front of it with your sugar in your cup. That's another thing people say to me, oh, trying to give up sugar. Do it slowly. If you're not an all or nothing person, take away the sugar and put a supplement instead and slowly ease yourself off it. 90 days to break a habit. And I say to people, yes, it took me about 3.5, 4 years to lose my weight. Yes, I've maintained it. I fluctuated a couple of stones, but then I'm human. Life throws curveballs at us. You pick yourself up, you dust yourself down. Right, what am I going to do to get back on track? Not telling anybody was really powerful for me because I didn't have to listen to other people's opinions. And this has worked with a lot of clients. They've gone out and they've just gone, what's right for me, and done it. And people have noticed on their own accord I used to go out for business meals, and I used to be the one that drank the hot water and lemon. And everyone was going, oh, don't you want a wine or something? To me, that was empty calories. Me and wine, just whoop, the pounds go on. 6 months later, everyone was drinking hot water and lemon. I didn't have to say anything. I just led by example. So you are in control. You can change your life. Doesn't matter if it's a large amount of weight or a small amount of weight. You can do it. What is your reason? What is your motivation? What is right for you? Identify your weak areas and do it one at a time. As you build this blocks of foundation, it just builds and builds, and then it starts rippling out. I soon learned on my journey, I'm very spiritual, and we have an energy system that runs through us as well. So it's mind, body, and spirit. If you're telling yourself you can't lose weight, you are telling every cell in your body you can't lose weight. So this is where this internal dialogue has to change for you to move forward. I can do this. I will be doing this, and I am doing this. They're very powerful words. It is literally, you have to make that decision. Are you going to hold yourself back in 5 years' time, wish you had done something? Or imagine in the future what it's going to be like when you've overcome these challenges and you've changed, you're healthy, you've got the energy through the day, you feel vibrant, and you've accomplished. It just grows and grows and grows. So just sit and think with yourself every day. Take yourself off. And I say this as well with exercise. Don't go out there and think that you have to go out full pelt. Actually, walking is really good for you. It is a basic thing that everybody can do. Take yourself out there. Connect with nature. Change and mix up that energy for the day. I get up and I go out walking with my dogs every morning. Sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, sometimes it's 2 hours. Change the energy. Come back in, you feel so much different. I had a friend always stuck in her house, and I said to her, you got a dog? And she said, yeah, I know, but it's cold. That's all right, you warm up when you go out. When you get walking, that body heat goes. She's like, really? She did it and she felt amazing. I had another friend the other week. I went to September, I went to Scotland. And mum was like, oh, my mum's really got to lose weight, but she's got to want to do it. Family barbecue. There's me with all my healthy stuff. They're eating all their junk food. No other way to say it. All the heavy, stodgy bread and everything. And they tried it. They were inspired, but didn't do nothing. Well, in the last 2 weeks, she's had a diagnosis where she now needs to lose weight. So I send her pictures of all my meals, and it's all the stuff that she said she'd never eaten. She would never eat. Where to buy it from? I've inspired her now to take that action. And I said to her, I'll be there for you. But you've now got that reason and that motivation to do it. Don't leave it too late. You want to be here for your children. You want to be here for your grandchildren. So just stop and think every day, what is it I need? What works for me? Don't be a follower. Do what's right for you. Create long-term changes smallly, building new habits and building that platform. Throw the word diet out the window. We don't do that no more. Healthy food. I did not follow a diet. That's what people say to me. What diet did you follow? I didn't. I looked at what was healthy. I knew I had to have 3 meals a day and a snack. I just knew it had to be high vibrational, basic food. You can go online and find so much, but don't be bombarded. Do what's right for you. You might be on a plan that works for you, and you might just keep slipping. So put everything into place. Do your plan. Build your daily routine. It's easier now. People used to say to me, I go to work. Can't take that to work, sweet. You're in your own homes now. Most of us in the UK are actually working from home. So you can build your meal plan and even pre-cook all your meals on a Sunday ready for the week. Prep time. Invest in yourself. And if you invest in yourself, I can tell you now, amazing things do happen. I did Britain's GMTV, Good Morning Britain's Toughest Mum. I never thought in my world I would do something like that. I found it liberating. Live on TV, throw it off, oh my God, I'm going to be the one that falls over and breaks myself. But I did it. So I went there with the mindset and I felt, I was like, freedom. I'm feeling liberated. Set yourself little challenges. A few years ago, well, many years ago, I think it was 2007, I did London Triathlon as a 3-part team. Yeah, I was the last one out of the water, but I did it. I pushed. I had that mental challenge of not giving up. So now, take responsibility for your health and well-being. It's now. Going to a doctor and saying you feel ill, and most of it is diet related, boosting your immune system with what's going on in the world out there is most important to happen. And it's only you that can do it. Build your foundation, create small steps, make a plan, do not overload yourself, work with what you've got. And don't compare yourself to anyone else. I never weighed myself until I got to 15 stone. Now, people think that's quite shocking, but I find every time I weighed myself, I'd be so much in my head, it just wouldn't work for me. So I remember going up to school and they all going to me, have you weighed yourself yet? And I was like, no, don't want to know. Don't want to know. When I finally got on the scales, I was 15 stone. But I actually tell people, don't weigh yourself. Go with how you feel. Go with what your clothes. Some people work with weighing themselves, but I'm finding a vast majority of people just being free and embarking on that healthy living and well-being lifestyle, you achieve more. Focus on the positive things. Lie in bed at night and visualize how you're going to look, how you're going to feel. Really take it on board. Play your next day out. I know Monday to Friday, I'm perfect. Saturday is when I will have a treat or something. That's grained into me now. A treat of something is always good, and I say that to people, but knowing when to stop. It's a massive subject that we can go into, and we can go into depth and depth and depth. But for people, just really at the moment, want them to understand there's a massive pandemic out there, and we can actually help ourselves, help the NHS, help our children. And you don't need to put on to your children about healthy living and your friends. If you're doing it, people normally naturally follow in. So for the last couple of years, been working on retreats with ladies and seeing their transformations. Now, obviously, we're in lockdown. I'm working from home, working one-to-one with people, giving them really, it depends on what areas of their life. Some's nutrition, some is spiritual, some is energy. We have trapped energy within our bodies as well from traumas. It's a whole wide range of things. So you can find me at innerenlightenment.co.uk. And if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat as well. But please, people, be responsible. Take control of yourself. And just look after yourselves in these times. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sarah. That was wonderful. And you know, I've been fortunate to have some treatment with you, which has been phenomenal, life-changing. I had Reiki done, and I needed that. Some of the cords that were broken, still remember, was transformational. We're going to go to an ad, and then we're going to have another phenomenal speaker come our way, which will be Anne-Marie Dubois.
You've got to look at yourself as a brand. A lot of people don't necessarily do that. And in order to stand out, you need to be different. Don't be a copycat. There's a lot of people doing the same kind of things and copying a lot of other people. What you need to start doing is you need to start positioning yourself as a unique individual with unique expertise. There's a lot of people that want to make a difference, but they're not following their own messages. They're not following whatever it is that they preach. So I highly recommend that you walk your talk. You don't copy other people. You take yourself seriously. You take your brand seriously, but you also look at opportunities to either partner with people or find the platforms where you can speak. The platforms where you're going to have hundreds or thousands of people attending. And that's the best way for you to start connecting and meeting and working with individuals. It's the best, it's the easiest way, and it can happen very, very quickly.